The chicken caper. In a cozy little farm, nestled in the rolling hills of the countryside, lived a group of chickens. There was Chuck, the charismatic rooster, Cluckers, his boisterous sidekick, and the hens, Henny, Penny, and Lenny. One day, as the sun began to set and the cool breeze blew through the trees, Chuck noticed that their chicken feed had run out. The group knew that they needed to get more food before dawn, or they would be left hungry. But where would they find enough food for everyone? As they pondered this problem, they spotted a farm across the way. It was rumored to have the best corn and wheat in all the land. Without hesitation, Chuck gathered his friends and they snuck out into the dark night, determined to get some of that food. The farm was heavily guarded by a fierce dog, but Chuck had a plan. He had noticed that the farmer's son always left a window open in the barn. So the group of chickens made their way to the barn and managed to slip through the window unnoticed. Once inside, they found themselves surrounded by piles of corn and wheat. But just as they began to feast, the sound of barking echoed through the barn. The group panicked and scattered in all directions. It was a close call, but eventually, the chickens regrouped and managed to grab enough food to last them through the night. As they settled down to sleep, Chuck couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in his group. They had pulled off the chicken caper of the century. From then on, whenever they needed food, they would gather together and sneak into the barn, always careful to avoid the farmer's son and his dog. And they knew that no matter what obstacles they faced, they would always stick together and come out on top. As dawn broke, the chickens made their way back to their cozy little farm, bellies full and hearts happy. They may have been just a bunch of chickens, but they were also a family. And nothing could break their bond. The fluttering friends. In a lush green meadow, there lived two butterfly friends named Bella and Breezy. Bella was a beautiful blue butterfly with black spots on her wings, and Breezy was a yellow butterfly with purple stripes. Every day, Bella and Breezy would flutter around the meadow, exploring and having fun. They enjoyed the sweet nectar from the flowers and the warm sunshine on their wings. They loved playing hide-and-seek and racing each other through the petals. One day, as Bella and Breezy were flying through the meadow, they saw a caterpillar struggling to climb up a leaf. They landed beside the poor creature and asked what was wrong. The caterpillar explained that he was trying to get to the top of the leaf to change into a butterfly. But he was too weak and tired. Bella and Breezy knew that they had to help their friend. They took turns lifting the caterpillar up the leaf until he reached the top. Then they waited patiently as the caterpillar spun a cocoon around himself and fell asleep. Days passed, and Bella and Breezy visited the cocoon every day, hoping to see their friend emerge as a butterfly. Finally, one sunny morning, a beautiful green and yellow butterfly emerged from the cocoon. It was their friend, now transformed into a stunning butterfly. The three friends continued to play and explore the meadow together, but now they knew that they could always rely on each other to lend a helping wing when needed. From that day on, Bella, Breezy, and their friend became known as the Fluttering Friends, spreading goodwill and kindness wherever they went. The end. The brave little hyena. Once upon a time, in the heart of Africa, there was a hyena named Hannah. Hannah was unlike any other hyena. She was smaller, skinnier, and her coat was thinner. She often felt lonely and left out because the other hyenas didn't want to play with her or invite her to their hunts. One day, Hannah decided to venture out into the jungle alone in search of something exciting to do. She soon stumbled upon a group of animals gathered around a tree. Curious, she approached them. To her dismay, they were all laughing and making fun of her, calling her weak and useless. Hannah wanted to prove them wrong. She suddenly remembered a story that her mother had told her when she was just a baby. It was about a brave little mouse who stood up to a big, scary lion. With newfound courage, Hannah stepped forward and challenged the animals to a game of hide-and-seek. At first, the animals laughed and scorned her, for how could a little hyena like her be good at such a game? But Hannah was determined to succeed. She used her small size and cunning to hide in places the bigger animals couldn't reach, and eventually, she won the game. The animals were amazed at Hannah's bravery and skill. They invited her to join their hunt, and from that day on, she became a dear friend to all the animals in the forest. Hannah learned that it didn't matter what others thought of her, as long as she believed in herself. She carried that lesson with her for the rest of her life and taught it to other animals she met along the way. And so, the brave little hyena lived happily ever after, inspiring other animals to be brave and courageous just like her. The leopard's big adventure. Once upon a time, in the heart of the African savanna, there lived a playful and curious leopard named Leo. Leo had always been fascinated by the stories he heard from his friends about the other side of the river, where the grass was greener, the trees taller, and the fruit sweeter. But every time Leo asked his parents if he could go and explore the other side, they would shake their heads and remind him of the dangers that lurked in the wilderness. They told him stories of crocodiles that could swallow him whole, lions that could tear him apart, and hyenas that could laugh at him while eating his dinner. But Leo was no ordinary leopard. He was brave, smart, and determined. So one day, while his parents were sleeping, Leo snuck away from his den and crept towards the river. He swam across the strong current and landed safely on the other side. As he explored the new territory, he discovered that everything was just as he had imagined it. The grass was greener, the trees taller, and the fruit sweeter. But he also encountered some animals he had never seen before, like ostriches, zebras, and giraffes. They were all so friendly and welcoming to Leo, and they invited him to play with them. Leo had the time of his life frolicking with his new friends, chasing after butterflies, and jumping over rocks. But when the sun began to set, he realized that he had gone too far and didn't know how to get back to his den. Just when Leo was starting to panic, he heard a loud roar. He turned around and saw a massive lion standing tall and proud. "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" the lion growled. Leo took a deep breath and introduced himself. He explained that he had come to explore the other side of the river and lost his way. He apologized for trespassing and promised that he meant no harm. The lion looked at Leo for a long moment and then let out a deep sigh. "I remember when I was young and adventurous like you," he said. "But I also remember the dangers that come with wandering too far from home. Let me guide you back to your side of the river, young Leo." Leo felt grateful and relieved, and he followed the lion back to the riverbank. Pony's adventure in the meadow. Once upon a time, there was a little pony named Rosie. She lived on a farm with her owner, a kind-hearted farmer named Anna. Every day, Rosie would play and run around in the meadow, enjoying the sunshine and fresh air. One day, while Rosie was frolicking in the meadow, she heard a faint cry for help. She followed the sound and discovered a baby bird had fallen out of its nest. Rosie tried to get the bird back into the nest, but she wasn't tall enough. Feeling determined to help the little bird, Rosie ran back to the farmhouse and whinnied as loud as she could to get Anna's attention. Anna immediately understood Rosie's message and rushed to the meadow to see what was wrong. Rosie led Anna to the baby bird and together they built a makeshift nest from nearby twigs and grass. They carefully placed the bird inside and waited for the mama bird to return. After a few hours, the mama bird returned to find her baby safe and sound in the new nest. She chirped happily and flew away with her baby. Rosie felt proud of herself for helping the little bird, and Anna was so impressed with Rosie's kindness and bravery. From that day forward, Rosie continued to watch over all the animals on the farm, just like a guardian angel. And from that day forward, Rosie became known throughout the meadow as the bravest and kindest pony of them all.